Have you been hoping the perfect business name for your new piano studio would just fall from the sky? Well, if inspiration hasn't hit yet, maybe it's time to take a different approach. Let's go through a brainstorming exercise and talk about what makes a great business name. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have 2 to 3 stellar choices for your new piano studio. Well, hey there, if we haven't met, I'm just your friendly neighborhood tattooed piano teacher out here giving tips for the new piano teacher, studio business owner to get started on the right foot and maybe avoid some of the mistakes that I made when I started my independent piano studio about a decade ago. In order to come up with the perfect business name for your piano studio, first we have to talk about briefly what makes a great business name. Well, first of all, a great business name is simple. Not overcomplicated. Think of some of the biggest brand names that come to your mind. Your favorite store, your favorite shoe brand. Do they have 6 or 7 word business names, brand names? No, they do not. Keep it simple. You want it to be easy to remember. If it's the most creative combination of 3 different words you've ever come up with, but no one can ever remember what it is or what it means, not helpful. And make sure that it's easy to spell. I remember a few years ago there was this app that I was trying to find and I knew it was a misspelling of a common word and I kept trying all these different misspellings and I could not find it. It was so frustrating. So if you're gonna be Apple, then just spell the word apple correctly. The next component of a great business name is that it's obvious. You don't have to guess what the brand is all about, what the business is all about. Bigger brands can get away with a one-word obscure name, and once they get huge, everybody knows what it means and it takes on its own meaning. You as a small business owner do not have that luxury, so do not name your business Google. And by that same token, your brand name should be descriptive, so people should know what they're getting into as soon as they see your business name. They shouldn't have to read a subtitle or a mission statement to know what you are all about. And along with that, the words that you choose will set the tone for your business. So we are going to talk about that a little more in depth once we start brainstorming, but just as a quick example, the word lessons has a very different emotional response or vibe than the word academy. So just keep that in mind as well. So far we have a great business name is simple and easy to remember and spell. And then secondly, it is obvious, descriptive, and it sets the tone for the type of business. The third thing that makes up a great business name is that it's broad enough to allow for growth, but specific enough to provide clarity to the future customer. We'll get more into that as well. And then the last component of a great business name is just that it's unique. So you don't want to pick a really similar name to one of your competitors, or you don't want a name that everybody else has. You do want it to be unique, not super weird and obscure, but yes, unique. So to recap, a great business name is simple, easy to remember, easy to spell. It's obvious, it's descriptive, and it sets the tone. It's broad enough to allow for growth, but specific enough to provide clarity, and it is unique. Okay, so if you're feeling inspired and you've already got some ideas, great. We are gonna jump into the brainstorming process. And if you've learned anything or found anything interesting so far, please hit that like button. Thank you very much. We're gonna be brainstorming a few different kinds of words and then putting them together. If you want my printable, it's for free down below. Click the link in the description and it has all the categories that we're gonna brainstorm. Otherwise, if you don't wanna bother with that, you can just grab a piece of scrap paper or a smart device, whatever you want to brainstorm and write on. So the first brainstorming category is local words. So think about other businesses in your locale. So you live in a country, you live in a state, you live in a county, you live in a city or town, you live in a neighborhood, you live in a region, you live in a part of the world, you live in a place. So what sort of distinctive words can you come up with that describe your locale? This can be a really good way to attract local customers because they're automatically going to know when they see your name that you're a small business owner and you're there for the community. And a lot of people are really into supporting that. So this isn't really something that I can help you with because only you know the location that you live in. So for me, I live in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, and here we call our city Cream City. Without getting into the history of Milwaukee, it doesn't have to do with like ice cream, unfortunately. It has to do with bricks. Yeah. These little local things can just be like a really catchy, but again, obvious and descriptive way to name your business. Now, you don't have to use a local word, but just take a moment to jot down some ideas that describe your locale. Okay, you got some down? All right, next category is personal words. All right, so the most obvious one is your name or your nickname or your teacher name or something descriptive about you. So again, you don't have to include your name in your business name. You don't have to do something personal, but it can be one of the most obvious and easy ways to name your business. So jot down all the different forms of your names, nicknames, teacher names, anything that's just descriptive of you, how you teach, and your personality. All right, get to it. Jot down some ideas. Okay, so if you've got some personal ideas written down, we're gonna move on to the next category of brainstorming. Now let's think of music words. All right, start with the obvious and then get creative. Now remember the easy to remember, easy to spell quality that we want to have to our business name. So yes, if you want to be Pianissimo Piano Studio, go for it, but literally nobody is going to be able to say that or spell it. If you really want to get into it, you could grab a music dictionary or find a website that has music terms. Think of things related to your instrument or things related to music in general. But anyways, jot down some music ideas. So our final category of brainstorming different types of words is going to be descriptive words. And this is just the general category name that I came up with. But basically what I was thinking for this one is you may want to add some additional words that describe your business beyond just like a music term and your name or your location. So consider the following, because these are like the most obvious ones that, we want our business name to be obvious. We don't want it to be so clever that people don't know what it is to even click on it. So consider the difference between the terms academy, studio, school, lessons. Each one sort of has some different connotations, a little bit more of a different vibe. So let's say you're a classically trained pianist and you want to do like competitions with your students and you want to get serious about it. Then maybe academy is going to go at the end of your business name so that you're finding your ideal customers. Now, if you name your business something School of Rock, which is already a thing, but just as an example, that is not where people who want a classical education and to win competitions playing Mozart are gonna end up, okay? But maybe that's more your vibe. Maybe you like teaching lead sheets and stuff like that. If your focus is mainly jazz, then maybe you wanna consider putting that in the business name. So this goes back to broad enough for growth, but specific enough for clarity. So if you call your business something music lessons, then that is going to open up your business to grow into more than piano, maybe to grow into more than one teacher, and really to expand. If you're looking to build a studio of like 20 teachers in your area, then maybe going with something general like music lessons is going to be the best for the longevity of your business, so you don't have to change your name later on. If you call your name Phoenix's Piano School of Jazz, then you are going to get your ideal customer very easily, but just be careful if you're that specific because number one, your name is in the business name. So if later on you want to hire, you probably will have to change your name, or they're just going to be under your business name and that's that. And if you mention piano in your business name, then you are offering piano lessons. People are not going to contact you for ukulele lessons if piano is in your business name, most likely. So I hope that gives you some clarity on that, of getting the scope of not too general, but not too specific either. All right, so we're gonna take another break and you're going to start putting these together. So look at your columns of words that you came up with and start pulling them together. And I want you to jot down phrases. So you're coming up with business name ideas. Write down 20 different combinations or more if you want to. Pause if you need more time because this can be kind of a long process too. Okay, now I want you to narrow down from the choices you came up with, and hopefully you wrote a lot down. because you never know what you might be missing. You're going to start writing phrases and then another word that you didn't have before is going to come to your mind. And that's how brainstorming works. That's how it works. So now we're going to narrow down your choices to 3 possible business names that you could get behind. All right, so you've got it narrowed down to business name number 1, number 2, and number 3. Take business name number 1, type it into a Google search. It's the first thing we're gonna do. Does it come up in an obvious way of another teacher that's already had this idea? That's what we're looking for, okay? So is there another music studio or music-related company that already chose your name or something very similar to it? If the answer is yes, cross that one out. We probably don't wanna do that. If the answer is no, then proceed to step 2 with me. Now you are going to type in business name number 1 as a URL into the browser search bar. Okay, so let's say you came up with Paula's Piano Studio. So you're gonna type paulaspianostudio.com, like all one word, as if it's your website. Type it in how you're gonna want it. See if anything comes up. Okay, if something comes up that is really similar to it that Google pairs you with, or if the exact URL comes up, then we're not going to do that one. But if nothing really comes up, then go on to step 3 with me. Now we're just going to check social media. So the big 3 that I would check is hop on Facebook, type in your business name idea, anything come up? Hop on Instagram, and then hop on LinkedIn. Just make sure there isn't somebody down the street from you that's small enough they don't have a website that's coming up on Google search, but they have like a Facebook page. You don't want any surprises later. So just check it out now. Now, if business name number 1 passed all of those checks, then put a star by it. If it failed one of those checks, then cross it off. That doesn't mean that you can't use a variation of it. But for now, let's move on to business name number 2 and see what we can come up with. So again, type it into a Google search, what comes up? Type it into the browser as a URL, does anything come up? Type it into Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, does anything come up? And then do the same process with business name number 3. And then see where you're at. If all 3 pass the test, then you, my friend, still have a decision to make. If none of them pass the test, then you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and come up with some different combinations, or maybe you can modify what you have to be different enough from the competitors out there that nobody is going to think you stole their name. Now, a couple of questions that I think you might have in your brain right now. One is, well, what if somebody else has the .com but like the .net is available, or an abbreviation of it, .com is available, or something like that? Can I just use that? Of course you can, but I wouldn't. People think in .com, and people don't like hyphens, and people don't like abbreviations. Remember, we want it to be stupid simple for your potential customers to find you. And the final step is just to make your personal final pick. And I hope in my heart that your perfect business name is available and unique and not taken by anyone else. And I really, really sincerely hope that for you. Hey, if you've made it this far with me, first of all, I really hope you have the best business name on the planet for your business. And I'm so proud of you and so excited for you for the next steps. Secondly, subscribe, because we are going to be talking about stuff related to starting your business specific to a piano lesson studio, and I want to get as many people on board as I can, so consider hitting that subscribe button and join my 30-day challenge. I'm going to send you 12 actionable steps. We're going to go through how to set up your website, how to get that domain so it's all yours and nobody else can steal it, and a bunch of other stuff related to setting up your piano lesson business. So click the link in the description below to get your first email and your first actionable step. And if you want to keep watching, the next step after you've picked your business name is my absolute favorite thing to do, and that is we get to design a logo. So I hope to see you on the next video.